What's going on, everybody? This is Jeremy Scott, and
Daniel Vickers.
this is Jeremy and Daniel Do Real Estate. So we are back for another riveting episode. This is the before. If you saw our last one, you can see what we can do in terms of renovation. And the goal of this is really just to say, hey, here's what it looked like ahead of time. Here's all of our thoughts that went into it, and then here's what it ended up like on the backside. So go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and you can see also we're going to be doing a series of these. What was the other address on that last one we just did? Eastover.
4009 Eastover.
Yep. And we do homes all over. And you'll see a lot of different zip codes. We're not scared of anywhere. We love Fort Worth and Tarrant County, especially Daniel after dark sometimes. But let's dive into it. So what I like to say is, so Daniel is the boots on the ground. He goes out, he closes the deals, he negotiates the deals. Walk us through this one.
Sure. So essentially, got a call from a lady that was looking to sell this property. Address for this one was 3509 Reagan Drive in Fort Worth. Pretty close to Camp Bowie, West Fort Worth. But essentially, went out to the property, met a sweet old lady there. Essentially, she was looking to sell to move in with her kids. And essentially, this
Daniel
property,
and sweet old lady is our life.
Essentially, this property, whenever I had gotten inside, I had noticed that it was initially a 2-bed, 1-bath, but due to 2 different conversions, it had been increased to a 5-bed, 1-bath, which off the bat, me analyzing that, I know that isn't ideal for an end buyer after we renovate it. So knew we'd have to do something about that. But essentially, we agreed to a fair price, got it contracted, and then within 30 days, we had our contracting crew in there, getting busy to work.
So here, let's analyze this craziness just right off the bat. This beautiful green grass, green overgrown trees.
Yep.
You can see the exterior right now is a certain, red kind of brickish color?
A red brick.
Which to me I think is pretty, but a lot of times if you can budget just painting the outside, it does wonders. But you can see that they added this, cement right here on the front, which I know that was a pretty penny. They converted the garage, which you guys will see as we go through. But I mean, in a nutshell, it's not the ugliest, but it certainly ain't pretty. So here's the front from another angle, and look at that tree. It didn't even show up in the other one. They must have planted these as well.
Yes.
But I mean, what I see here is a good lot. What I don't like is that commercial property right next door that you can now see. And you better factor that in on your rehabs and ARV on the backside. If you're flipping a home and everything makes perfect sense and it's right next door to a commercial, I would take it back about 10% because people just don't like to sit next to it. And it's happened to me multiple times where you make less than you expected because the commercial next door or across the street, parking lot, etc. Now, it's not as bad as it used to be because DFW is there's such demand, so desirable. But that's a big no-no for the most part. But we factored that into our negotiations. We told them that at the beginning, played it as one of our cards, and Daniel got him under contract at a very, very good deal. So what else about the front? I mean,
essentially, as far as the front goes and really the whole exterior, what I liked the most was essentially, even though it did have 2 separate, conversions added on to it or additions, they were old enough to where they had added actually the same brick that was on the initial house, so it at least all matched, because it's really not ideal if part of the house, if the original house is brick and then the rest of it is, a siding that doesn't match or something like that. It's just can be more of a nightmare. So that was the one advantage. And then, of course, the added square footage is always good for us as well.
Definitely. Square footage is the number one driver in value. Square footage. Most people don't get that. But, all right, let's walk inside. I'm terrified.
Sure.
So, first picture, what do you see?
Well, essentially, this is actually in the middle of the house. This is coming from where the old house ended and going into the addition that was added on to the back. They added on this weird little room in the back that didn't have much of a purpose. I'm sure they probably used it as kind of like a dining room area, but wasn't super ideal or anything like that. Like I said, it was a 5-bed, 1-bath, so it was a super weird layout. And of course, you can see the paneling and stuff they had added on there was pretty interesting. So
reminds me of a Baptist children's room at a church with that wood where you go in.
Yep.
The only thing this is missing is church pews and tiny little carpet without padding.
Yeah.
But is that cement down there?
If I remember correctly, part of it was cement, and
Like
then the other
stain?
part was carpet, and it was a mess.
And you can see right here in this picture that it looks like they almost have a pier, like they jacked up did some foundation work
They
right
did.
in there.
They did
Yeah.
do some foundation work there. It actually, between foundation work and then also it had some flooding back there as well. So you'll see in another photo where part of that paneling is rippling at the bottom just due to some previous flooding.
So beautiful. And you can see this awesome fridge. I mean, just an unbelievable layout of the kitchen.
No.
So obviously right off the bat, walking in, you're like, this is the first thing that needs to go. I mean, here, let's turn around and what does it look like on the other side? Well, it's just this brown, gross windows.
Yep.
The floor was disgusting. We had to replace it throughout. That tile actually looks okay. You could, in theory, regrout.
Yes.
But
yes.
if you're replacing all the rest of it, I don't think it's. You might as well do it. And then the popcorn ceilings, you know,
They had to go. We scraped those, so
they gotta go. Look at all those outlets too. They're all over the place. Just random. It looks like they did it themselves.
Yep.
Also, that window. I mean, that is the weirdest window in the world in terms of length and position.
Yep.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, definitely not.
So let's mosey on over here. Turn around. So layout wise, you're the master of this,
Sure.
right? We did a ton of wall knockdown
Yes.
in this house. It started as a
5-bed, 1 bath.
which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But if you have 5 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, we had to obviously fix that. So when we were done, we made it into a
4-bed, 2.5 bath.
with 2 living rooms, if I'm not mistaken.
No, 1 living room, but we actually knocked out a wall
Gotcha.
for one of the bedrooms and turned it into a bigger dining room. So where you guys just saw that photo of where the
That makes
paneling
sense.
was with the fridge, to the right of that, we knocked out that wall and made that a dining room right there,
Nice.
and as well as the kitchen. So where we actually had just seen where the fridge was, we had flipped the kitchen around. We'll pull up another photo of where the kitchen previously was. Basically, we turned it around and used one of the same walls and kept the kitchen there and a dining room to the right, and then the living room and bathroom up in front of it.
And it's amazing. It's fun to do that. This is the most Chip and Joanna HGTV thing we've probably done,
Mhm.
right? But they get tons of free stuff. Look at the credits at the end of the show. So they get to do all that and save money. This time we had the budget and the house was so whack we had to. But it ended up amazing and you can do it all. But it's very expensive at the end of the day to start moving walls around and whatnot. And then again, just these 2 doors side by side. What the heck is that? And there's a missing smoke alarm. What else we got? So here's another. This was, I think, the living room.
I believe this, when it pulls up here, so this was actually a bedroom that you can see the windows. I remember talking with my contractor, they weren't actually they were actually a custom size, and so had to go through some work with that and stuff. It was really a weird layout, but this was one of the rooms of the original house, one of the 2 original bedrooms, and essentially you can see they at least had drywall in here, but
Look
at least not the paneling, but it was gross.
Look at the top. Oh, you say
Yeah.
drywall. Look at the drywall at the top where
Yep.
there's like messed up popcorn because first off, popcorn's extremely hard to match. You might as well rip it down. But they had roofing leaks like crazy. You can see. Now this roof, was it new? Did we have to replace it?
So the roof was new whenever we acquired it, so it was
Which is
within 18 months.
And it was just say $6,000 probably. But this room, I mean, it's tiny, it's weird, it's awkward. The carpet is disgusting.
Yeah.
Is that an old school like water comes down?
No, I
Or is that just a
believe
busted light?
I believe it was originally a light that they just didn't have in there
Yeah.
anymore.
All right. Well, let's move on over to the. And this was what, about a year ago. So we've gotten
Yes.
better at our before and after photo processes.
Correct.
But let's take a look at
It's a bathroom right there.
this one.
Yep, those 2.
We're gonna go kitchen and bathroom, baby. Look at that wallpaper. Oh, shoot.
So it was a pretty weird little bathroom. Essentially, and again, this was the only bathroom in the house, and imagine having 5 occupied bedrooms sharing this one bathroom. It just didn't make much sense for that to be the case, especially if you have any guests over or anything like that. But yeah, it was really narrow. I remember, right where the shower is there, that area was super narrow, and then just past it was a toilet and vanity, and that was it.
And is that even wallpaper?
I don't think it was wallpaper, but it was a weird paint texture.
Gotcha.
So it was
Whatever
unique.
it was done, it was home done.
It was home. Yeah, it was amateur.
Well, A nice part too. I mean, you look at it. Yeah, it's ugly, but we can make it look really good. We ripped out that glass part area for the shower, put in that base thing that we always put in, and just redid it. But I'm excited to show you guys on the backside video what this turned out looking like. But I mean, your basic bathroom. Here's another angle at it. This is the toilet and
the toilet and vanity here. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks basic, but you do your simple fix. That's two different floorings for sure. Like if you look at that last picture, it's different flooring than the one we're looking at right now.
Right. And yeah, the other photo was just from the other end, but you can see again how narrow it is where that shower is, and then it goes straight back into one of the bedrooms where the addition was. Before, this was just probably a sealed off wall, and they opened it up whenever they put that addition in.
Oh, they did incredible renovations. Here's the kitchen. This was honestly probably the nicest part of the house outside of the
kitchen was in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, it's in bad shape.
What you'll notice with the photos of the kitchen here is that there's an exterior window where the sink was, and you can see it right here. And essentially, that's how I knew it was an addition right off the bat, is there was a step down to where the addition was. And then if you have an exterior window in the kitchen, that probably looked out to the backyard before they had added on. So essentially, I will say for the after photos, the kitchen was here. We already had all the plumbing run there. So essentially, we just turned that around to where the addition was and put the kitchen down there and ended up converting this into a half bath. So essentially that turned out super nice right next to the living room there.
And we were able to utilize the plumbing that was already there for that.
Correct.
So when you have to install that, it's massively extra. And again, it made sense to do it here. The money was there. It didn't make sense to not do it. But normally we aren't moving bathrooms and kitchens and stuff like that. But you can see your typical thing. At one point, this was top of the line stuff. But JFK might have been in office still. This isn't salvageable. I know in the last video we talked about we could have, but it just didn't make sense.
Especially since we were turning the kitchen around and moving it, it didn't make sense to tear those cabinets down and put them back up.
Right. So kitchen, fridge, I mean, it's ugly. Nobody wants to live there.
Right. And so they had the fridge, they had a fridge there as well down in the bottom of the addition. But yeah, this, again, just completely turned it into a bathroom, a little half bath for guests, and looked significantly better after. But it was in rough shape.
Check this out. This is custom cabinetry. Because they cut it right there and cut it higher so this fridge could fit in there. Left about a 2-foot gap between the fridge and the stove and counter.
If you look close enough, it looks like they kind of just wedged it in there where the bottom of that cabinet is actually turned up.
Oh, so they didn't cut it. They
didn't cut it. It is busted it out.
Custom cabinetry.
Yep, custom.
Genius. Absolutely genius.
So this was the initial conversion of the garage where, again, it was from the front exterior there where the driveway went up. There was a garage there. They converted that. This was the master closet. It also had the washer and dryer hookup in there. What you guys will see on the after photos again is that we converted this into a master bathroom. So again, the after photos are amazing.
It's awesome. And again, the plumbing was there, so we were able to utilize that much more effectively. But my goodness, this house needed a full rehab. And we got it at a good price. So they knew it. That's why they sold it to us. But that is rough. Mm-hmm. So this was
the master bedroom, and going through that closet there is where the washer and dryer hookup was
crazy.
Again, and that was the closet.
Imagine just running a load, you go to sleep in your bedroom, and you wake up, your shoes are soaked, flooded, horrible. All right, and then here's a photo of the back, just so you can see. You saw the front, you're going to see the back. It was way prettier when we got done with it. But to me, I mean, that curb appeal is not, it's got good curb appeal. I like where the trees are placed. We can clean that up. We can mow the yard. And then you'll see we painted and did new windows throughout. I mean, we made this thing awesome.
Yes, definitely.
So it's that time, Daniel. We need your parting wisdom. What would you like to give to the listeners on how to save money?
Sure.
What would we have done differently in hindsight? Would we have done anything differently in hindsight?
This one turned out pretty good for us. At the end, we were able to save some money, and like Jeremy had said, where if it makes sense and you already have a wall where the plumbing is and everything, you can definitely kind of redesign the layout of the house. That's definitely the best way to save money. But if you're gonna jackhammer under the floor to get plumbing all the way across the house to add a bathroom or something, it just doesn't make sense monetarily to do that.
Yep, 100%.
Yep.
Man, that's some wisdom. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like we said, we're going to be doing this next week. The follow up will come out. We're doing it once a week, but we're particularly excited for you guys to see this one because it is a massive transformation, and so will the next one. But appreciate you guys listening again. Subscribe to us. You get to see all these, and we will see you next time. Take care.